Oh boy, we got like a whole 2 minutes before we start. This is getting kind of crazy with how long it takes for all of that to load and stuff, to be completely honest. Alright. Let's come over here, grab this thing here, and then Control-Shift-S, 61, 68, sailboat, rescue, save. So we have that. So we are here. A little bit in. Once we've had 0, once we get to like the 60-minute or 60 seconds, we'll start the process of streaming. Got about another 24-ish seconds, and then we'll be diving right into building another CoastGaurd boat set. This boat set, once more, is it's basically literally just going to end up being on one of the older 2008 sets. I think it was 2008 anyhow. So that you can have this boat on a trailer that makes sense. This set doesn't come with a boat, or this set actually comes with 2 boats, excuse my English. The set doesn't come with a form of trailer for this boat, and the trailer that came with this line of sets, despite being a good trailer, just doesn't look good to the eyes. So I went ahead and I have it basically set up where I can copy paste one of the big 4x4s and trailers for this particular boat hull. So we're about 2 minutes in, so we're good. We can go ahead and begin as needed. Today was pretty standard, I guess you could say. Click on this and then hit continue, continue, continue. I really don't want to do those because of reasons. Like I said, today was standard, nothing really much going on. Things have been going a lot smoother than what they have. What they originally were, things have been going smoother because it's so much. Once you start getting into the routine of things, everything becomes smooth. That's basically just how it is. The schedule's worked out most of the kinks. There's still a few here and there. Towards the end of the day, sometimes we end up with too many kids to too few counselors. We're still within DCF ratios for the most part, but sometimes it just ends up being a little frustrating to have a lot of kids and not a lot of counselors. Because if you need to do something like a bathroom or anything like that, it can get a little difficult if you don't have a ton of people to help out. So just certain things become a little too difficult. This set is actually really simple to build, to be completely honest. That's why I'm doing it first instead of doing the real big kind of like headquarters set that came out in this line. Save that one to last. I want to do this one first because of how small it was, how easy it was. Save the best for last, I guess, in some sort of way. This is very interesting back design that they have going on here. I guess this is how the minifig is supposed to crawl in to the cabin. I got a lot of just... I think what bothers me is that some counselors aren't here to be counselors. Like, my whole objective is to truly be a good counselor, like to make deep emotional connections one-on-one with kids. That's my objective. And the reason I want to do that is because if you want to fix everything that's wrong with society, you start with the next generation. Because if the next generation is growing up to the point where they're being taught the right things, the right morals and the values and different things like that, if that happens, the next generation is just all the better. So you do that via deep emotional connections. You don't just expect them to all of a sudden have it coming out of a womb or something. You actually got to teach it to them. So some of the counselors are just not here to do stuff like that. They're here just to collect a paycheck, and because of that, that makes my life much more difficult. Let's find my piece of paper. So I can't show you guys this piece of paper because it's got children's names on it, and I'm not allowed to show children's names. But this little piece of paper right here has AA bricks. Like, because, all right, so how it works is that there's a morning shift and an afternoon shift. Obviously, if there's a problem with a kid between the morning shift and the afternoon shift, and that kid's parents don't come to get them, you can't, like, if you got to talk to that parent, you can't talk to them if you're a morning shift person and you're leaving before they come and get picked up. So I get this little piece of paper that has people's names on it that I have to supposedly talk to and solve and rectify a whole bunch of problems. So we'll go down the list and we'll see if some of these are actually worthy of even talking to parents about. Because some of these you're just like, really? I have to go tell a parent that? Like, it bothers me that they make me go and talk to parents about some of these things, because some of these things are very minimal and can be solved if you literally just sit down and talk to the kid. Literally, that's all you got to do. You just sit there and be like, hey, do you understand what you're doing? And if they say no, then you explain to them what they're doing is hurtful, gross, not okay, different things like that. Certain kids understand that what they're doing is not okay. So let me take that out of the way. So we'll start with the first kid and we'll see how bad this is, right? So this is a girl. It says, accusing counselors stealing her stuff. That's word for word what it says. Period. Playing in bathroom. Okay, so this kids are allowed to have electronic privileges at camp. By electronic privileges, I basically mean that they can bring game, like their phones, iPads, iPods, different things like that. They can bring that to camp, and there's a point in time where they can play on that. It's a designated point in time, so on and so forth. This canopy piece actually is an NLVD from the looks of it. The longer version of it is, but the short version is not. Well, this morning someone was playing, this girl was playing on her tablet at a time where she was not supposed to be. So a counselor confiscated it and put it on the table where she gets her stuff at the end of the day, so that when she leaves, she still has it and it doesn't go missing. Literally, she just took it and put it back where it goes. That's what the counselor did. Well, the child got super upset because she thought that the counselor was going to steal it. And that's where the first part of this comes from. So I was like, okay, well, I honestly don't feel like I should talk to a parent about this. Like, this isn't Like, is this really a big enough deal to tell a parent about? So I called the kid over to talk to her because I'm slightly concerned about what's going on. I was like, hey, so and so, is there a problem that needs to be addressed? I was like, are you worried that someone's going to steal your stuff? Did someone take something from you? Or like so on and so forth. Turns out she watched one of the other counselors take something from someone, and then that someone hasn't gotten that thing back. Like it just hasn't found its way back to its rightful owner, which is why she was afraid that a counselor was going to take her iPad away from her, and then she was never going to get it back. Which is understandable. You watch another kid's stuff get taken away and then it never get returned. You might be thinking, well, if my stuff gets taken away, it'll never get returned and I'll never see it again. Honest, it makes sense. So I was like, no, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to steal things from you and then go and sell it or take it home with us because we want it. So I have to talk to a council now to see if we can get that thing returned to its rightful owner. Playing in the bathroom was probably legitimate because a lot of the girls play in the bathrooms. I actually spend most of the day unclogging toilets in the girls' bathroom because the girls play in it so much. But like, do you really walk up to a parent and be like, "Oh, well, your daughter was playing in the bathroom today"? Like, really? There's no real reason to say that. Like, that's something that I can talk to her about on a one-on-one type scenario and just be like, hey, listen, we don't play in the bathroom. What you're doing is unacceptable. It causes a lot of mess that people have to clean up. Please don't do it again, so on and so forth. If the problem persists, obviously I will talk to a parent, but it's just one of those things. So that's the first kid. The second kid, apparently they dealt with because the dad came in, like picked her up early or something like that. But this is another girl. I'll read what the paper says here in a second. It says, throwing tantrums when counselors tell her to do something / playing in bathroom. Like, well, yeah, they're kids. Like, if a counselor tells you, hey, clean up that mess, but it's not your mess, of course you're going to be like, I don't want to clean that up. It's everyone. It's like if a garbage can gets knocked over by a garbage man who's like supposed to be throwing it away, and then he looks at you and goes, hey, clean that up. Of course you're going to be pissed off and not want to pick it up. So really, some of it, again, some of it I'm just like, really, I think this is more or less you just getting annoyed that stuff like this is happening, as opposed to this is a serious issue that needs immediate fixing, right? The next person's a guy playing inappropriate games when had already been told to not play them, right? So I was immediately like, inappropriate games? Like, what inappropriate games are you talking about? So I asked the two counselors who wrote this what inappropriate games that they were talking about, and it was like the best response I've ever gotten. Oh, well, I can't remember. I was like, really? If he was playing an inappropriate game, I would suspect that you would remember what inappropriate game he was playing. Like, how do you just all of a sudden forget what inappropriate game he was playing? It's just like I know if one of my kids is playing an inappropriate game, I'm not going to forget what the inappropriate game is. So when I ask a question trying to figure out what inappropriate game he was playing, and you're not able to tell me, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so did it really matter that he was playing whatever game he was playing? I got to the bottom of it because I ended up talking to the kid about it. What he was doing is like this old thing. I used to do it in school all the time. That's whatever. You start out like this or something, and then you tell someone to break the diaper, and then they swipe their hand through it to break the diaper, and when they break the diaper, you do something, I can't remember how to do it. You basically kind of do this, and then like your middle finger is supposed to be P, and it's supposed to be like, oh, surprise, P, like things like that. It's really not that big of a deal. And that's supposedly the inappropriate game that he's playing. So I called over the kid and I was like, hey, were you doing this? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, look, this is inappropriate. We can't do this. Like, sorry, don't do this. And he was like, okay, yeah, I understand that now. And I was like, okay, well, there you go. Problem solved. The kid understands. He's not allowed to do that. There's no reason for me to go talk to his mom. If the problem persists, I will talk to his mom. But if it doesn't, there's no point in me telling his mom. It's as simple as that. And like, how am I supposed to explain that to a parent, right? Like, oh, hey, your son was playing a game today where he breaks open a diaper and then all of a sudden pee comes flying out. Like, really? It's not that big of a deal for me to have to go up and bother a parent about. Next kid. Drawing marker on his face. Is another guy, another boy. I keep saying guy. Like, yeah, they're kids. But the fuck did you expect? Oh, man. Sorry, cursing. I'm trying not to. I apologize. Like, if it's a kid, do you really care if he's drawing on his face? Like, look, because I don't. I honestly, kids are kids. They're going to do kid things. Doing a kid thing involves drawing on your face. It just is what they do. They're kids. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right here. It's not that big a deal because all the markers that we have kids handle are washable markers. So even if it was like, I could understand if it was a Sharpie, right? You would never just let a kid draw all over his face with Sharpie. But this was washable Crayola markers. It's honestly, it just does not matter the way that they're making it out to matter. So it's just one of those things, essentially. So next, same kid who was drawing on his face with marker, he says, going inside other kids' lunchboxes again. Now then, we had a problem yesterday where, what size is that, 12 long? Where we had, this kid in particular went into someone's lunchbox, took their Mentos out, ate half of it, and then put it into his lunchbox. So the second you asked him, like, hey, did you do this? And he was like, no, and then you looked inside his lunchbox, and it turns out he did do it. It was obvious. There was no denying it at that point. So we had to talk to his mom about that yesterday, because obviously you can't go into someone else's lunchbox, take their Mentos, and then lie about it, saying that, oh, no, they're yours, things like that. So his mom was like, okay, no problem, that solution will be solved ASAP, as in like, yeah. And I've known this mom for a while now, and the solution or the problem is adjusted as needed, right? It's not one of those parents who just says, oh yeah, the problem will be fixed and never fixes the problem. This parent fixes the problem. Well, today, right here on this paper, it says that he was going into someone else's lunchbox again, stealing stuff. And I kind of thought about it, right? Like, I've known this kid for a while now. This kid doesn't just, he's not a consistent issue. It's not like a, right? This kid actually learns from mistakes. So for me to hear that he did it again, I'm a little skeptical. I'm like, okay, well, there's something wrong here. There's no reason he would do it again. Well, come to find out, he took food from his sister's lunchbox and then told the counselor that it was his sister's lunchbox, and the counselor didn't believe him because his sister is in a different division in a completely different part of the church. right? So a counselor didn't believe what he was saying when he said, no, this is my sister's lunchbox. Well, I'm a little like, it might be your sister's lunchbox, because when he's packing up his stuff today, the lunchbox that he puts into his bag is a Hello Kitty lunchbox. And I'm like, okay, look, there's no way you have a Hello Kitty lunchbox, because the lunchbox that I remember you with is a Star Wars lunchbox. So I'm a little, a little iffy here. You might actually be telling the truth when you say, like, hey, this is my sister's lunchbox, because it would make sense that your sister has a Hello Kitty lunchbox. Well, his mom walks in, and the first thing I asked her, I was like, ma'am, does his sister have a Hello Kitty lunchbox? She goes, yes, why? I was like, well, is that hers? And then I pointed into his bag, because it was always open. It's usually always open. She goes, yeah, I guess their dad must have gotten it mixed up and just given them the wrong ones. And I was like, that happens, I understand, no problem. She goes, why? I was like, well, ma'am, to be completely honest, 2 of our counselors accused him of stealing from someone else's lunchbox. He flat out told them that that was his sister's lunchbox, and those counselors didn't believe him. She goes, oh, well, yeah, no problem, that's his sister's lunchbox. And I was like, well, ma'am, you have a good day. Our counselors were wrong, and they didn't listen to him. She goes, okay, well, that's a little funny. And I go, yes, ma'am, it is. Hopefully I can fix that problem tomorrow. So I get to go talk to counselors about thinking before acting, kind of like, okay, well, yeah, maybe this is his sister's lunchbox, instead of flat out being like, no, you're just trying to cover your tracks, you're stealing again. And then sending him down to the office so that he can get a stern talking to, despite the fact that he was not stealing again. So, yay. There's one more kid on here. Taking tickets from other kids' bags, right? So, the counselors who run the morning part of this group for 2nd and 3rd grade have this kind of ticket incentive type program going on. Basically, what happens is you get tickets like you would at fairs. And then at the end of the week, whoever has the most tickets gets a special prize, like a Happy Meal or something like that from McDonald's. It's supposed to be like really special, right? Well, some of these kids are irresponsible with their stuff and whatnot. So this student walked out to get something, and there were tickets on the ground, and she picked them up and kept them. Right? Obviously, we can't do that. That's inappropriate. It's kind of like stealing, things like that, right? Well, someone apparently relayed that message to the counselors, but the message was, oh, well, she went into my bag and took them out. And I doubt that she went through someone's bag and took them out, because her dad is a cop, and I'm pretty sure her dad is very stern. And when I say very stern, I mean very stern. Like, I'm super scared of this guy. This guy, I look up at this guy. He's real bulky. It's just, yeah. So, obviously, I don't think she went through someone's bag. So I straight up asked her. I was like, all right, I'm going to count this real quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I asked her straight out. I was like, look, did you get a chance to say your side of the story to the 2 counselors? She goes, no, they kept cutting me off. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. I want you to tell me what happened. She's like, okay, well, I was walking out here to get my lunchbox for snack. There were tickets on the ground, and I decided to keep them. And I was like, okay, well, look, here's the deal. It's not okay for you to keep things like that. It's kind of like money. If you find, I asked her straight up, I was like, if you find money, do you keep it? She goes, no. I was like, see, exactly. So if you find tickets on the ground, do you keep them? She goes, no. And I was like, okay, so how can we improve next time? And she's like, well, maybe if I'm honest about it, with the counselors, I'll get a ticket for turning them in. And I go, see, there you go. That's how you should be thinking. If you're honest about where you got them from, if you found them on the ground, things like that, boom, you have a chance of acquiring tickets. You don't have to worry about them like that. She's like, okay, well, that makes sense. And I was like, see, there you go. Problem solved. Most of the problems literally could have been solved if you just sit down and discuss the problem with the kids instead of just yelling at them immediately, because, yeah, that happens way too much. The two counselors will just sit there and they'll, instead of like giving the kid the chance to speak or anything like that, they just immediately open up with like, oh, well, why are you doing it? And then just automatically assume guiltiness. But you just can't automatically assume guiltiness, because if you just assume guiltiness and then it turns out that you're wrong, you look like a complete and utter ass and people start to hate you. So, got to be a little fair and balanced. You can't just take kids at face value. You can't have a kid that come up to you and just be like, oh, so-and-so was doing this in the bathroom, and then turns out that kid wasn't doing it at all. The other kid just wanted to get one of them in trouble. So he made up a story about what was happening in the bathroom. You weren't there. You took the kid at face value and then ended up yelling at a kid for something they didn't do. So, that's the whole list. Oh, really? Kind of hyped. I'm gonna go see Spider-Man tonight. It's gonna be great. It's supposed to be like one of the best Marvel movies or something like that. So we'll see. And then the war between Marvel and DC will grow thicker and thicker. Wonder Woman was a fantastic movie by DC standards. It was nowhere near what Marvel can produce and put out. But if DC continues doing what they did with Wonder Woman, then they're getting somewhere further, which is great news, to be honest. You gotta have a little bit of competition in order to get better. Because Marvel movies aren't bad, but they're definitely not getting any better because, well, they don't have any competition, and there's no point in getting better if you don't have any competition that forces you to get better. What? Why is this not going on? Did I grab the wrong one? Interesting, it literally doesn't line up the way it should. Hey Troy, hey Bacher. Gotta find these rotor blades. Found them. Now I gotta find these parts, wherever they may be. I want to say I found some of them the other night when I was looking for things. There we are. I found them. All right. Boom. It's the first part of that done. Let's close this out. Let's go ahead and Control Shift S. This is 6167 CoastGaurd head quarters. Save. Alright, so that's the first part of that done. Do I want to do the boat next? I guess we're doing the boat next. Go ahead and download this. The boat's going to be a little difficult to do because the front section of the boat, is stud's not on top. So we'll see exactly how that works out. The other thing is this boat has a dinghy on the back of it, that's kind of awkward to use, and I don't know if I want to keep it. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Is this a straight hull? No, this has the sides on it. About to say. I'm going to switch from white to orange. I like the orange better. I think it fits the CoastGaurd bright theme a lot better. Oh my goodness. These pages a lot bigger than this. Yeah, that's why. Alright. Here we go. Alright, I'm already kind of not liking this. That's a 6, 8, 10. 6. Yeah. Oh, not dark gray, light gray. What the heck? Here's the snot that I was talking about. Now, 740-ish. This computer over here says 742. This one over here says 740. So that's interesting. This is going pretty good. This is, I wouldn't even go to say that this is the largest. Heck, where's this piece at? I don't think this is even the largest of all the CoastGaurd sets, or of like what I have left. I think the building is going to take longer to build than this is actually. So where is this piece at? Yeah, I honestly, I remember. They moved it. Yeah, one time it was in a different section, and then they moved it to another section. Yeah, I remember now. Sometimes the different versions of LDD all blend together as to where more obscure pieces are. Got just a little bit more to go through. Not too much, to be honest. Then we can get it all loaded up together and see where it goes. Oh god, disgusting. I don't want to talk to her. After we're done with this, we're done with all the CoastGaurd sets, and then it's just kind of coming through and finishing buildings and how everything's going to kind of come together in the ways where they look correct, basically. So soon enough, we should be done. What the heck is going on here? Gotta figure out which end is which. Apparently this one goes down here on this one in the middle, like so. Then on one of these is a blue stud for some reason. Followed by you, as well as you, and then you. Okay, boom, good. Oh yeah, this goes on. I don't understand why they put stickers on at like the very last, not even last, but they just put stickers on randomly in the middle of the build on things that could have been first. Like we started with the boat hole. You could have put the stickers on the boat hole to begin with. You didn't have to do it now. Like, just, sometimes it doesn't make sense that way. These two pieces I think would have been cooler if they were. I doubt that you're going to use every stud of these pieces, so they probably would have been cooler as the kind of corrugated type pieces, to be honest. Because then you could like see into parts of the ship that you're not using. Just a thought. See, like yeah, I might just end up replacing these pieces myself, to be completely honest. I think my goal at this point is to kind of get through a good portion of finishing the base tonight. Not all of it, just a good portion of it. They waste so much space. Like there's a front part to this that's just hollow, like just there, and then the whole underside of this, like that bothers me. It honestly bothers me. Why would you? You've got this whole bolt to work with, and you're only selecting and choosing certain parts to play with. Or to use, I should say. I guess you're really not playing with it unless you're a kid. But I feel as if they're doing it on purpose to limit the amount of parts count that went into it, but still charge a pretty expensive price for it. Most of the more recent LEGO sets have been overpriced for what they are, and I feel as if that's a problem that LEGO can rectify quite simply. There's no need to consistently have this issue. I think they should just lower their prices. They're making plenty of money. They're the highest quality building construction toy there is. There's no reason they should continue with overpriced toys. That's a piece? What the heck? I guess it is. An interesting piece. I think out of the three, this is I think this is the second favorite that I have. I think the original is my favorite so far of all of them that have come out. In terms of the really big CoastGaurd boats, I think the first one just makes overall the most sense in terms of boat designs. I should just miss something on that step that I have to go back and fix. I missed the life ring, whatever they want to call it. Boom, one there, good to go. That's that mechanism that I was talking about that I really don't want to add, because I really don't. It takes up a lot of room that I don't want to take up. For an action feature, yeah, but I don't want it. Does this stick out? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. This is a 12. This sticks way out, actually. Slightly confused because it stuck out. I thought it was the same. Hey, Connor. We're working on finishing up phase 2 of this 3-step plan. After we finish this, we just have the headquarters to do, and then after the headquarters, we throw everything into the really, really big Coast Guard base that I've been working on for a while now. And once we're done with that, we're done. Well, once we're done with the Coast Guard base, we're done. But I've got a movie to go to tonight, so I won't be finishing it all tonight, I don't think anyhow. If I do, I've made excellent time. If I don't, sorry, just don't expect to go. Don't expect me to finish that. Well, don't expect me to finish a massive, massive build in such a short amount of time. Oh, I screwed up right there. I didn't mean to. Well, crap. Yep, I will finish this up as we go, hopefully, and we'll be able to get everything done for the most part. Where is this thing? I just used this piece the other day. There it is. It's always at a weird angle, and because it's at a weird angle, it's kind of hard to find sometimes. It's interesting to see that they have these new flat 1x1 round studs, but they always end up using studded ones in places that don't need studded ones. It's honestly, it's pretty interesting to see. I don't understand why. Why would you use, like on this mast right here? I need my mouse. On this mast right here, why would you use these instead of the flat stud ones? That just kind of throws me off a little bit that they would use the wrong kind, I guess is a way to say. I can't stay in this chair all too long. It's honestly really uncomfortable to be kind of hunched over like this for long periods of time. So I think after I finish this boat, I'll go ahead and transition over to my bed so I can just be a little bit more comfortable. For detail, what are we talking about for detail? Was I say something about detail? I've already forgotten my own conversation, like the only words that I've been saying. Was I talking about something with Lego? Oh yeah. I was talking about the lights for Lego. Okay, I could see adding just. I can see if it adds a little bit of design to it. I could see that. So yeah, I can see your point, Connor. I think so. I like that. I like my builds just to be a little bit more polished, like rounded off and polished and things like that. But I could see your point. Certain people don't want it to be rounded off and polished. Other people might want it to be more kind of built up. It looks like an actual kind of like light instead of just flat, things like that. I could see that now that you say it. Alright, need a walkie-talkie. It's way down here. I don't particularly care about the chains. I don't particularly care about that. All right, boom, done. All right, so now we just got to save this just in case the rotate tool goes horribly wrong. Take and rotate this back. Oh, goodness. As needed, just like so. Alright, so there's the boat and the helicopter done. The next things to do, save this. I'm offline. Let me connect to the internet real quick. I don't think I added everything that I needed to add, to be honest. Let me check real quick. Home. Yeah, I don't think I have all of those, and do I? No, I don't. All right, so yeah, I got some files over here that actually need to be uploaded to Google Drive because I don't have them where they should be. So that can stay there, that can stay there. These need to come on over here. All right, now then we can click on that. We can kind of come over here, boom, turn the screen off because we got it set up so the screen no longer turns off on its own. It's actually really nice, to be honest. I prefer it. That's a paycheck. That's my wallet. I'm going to need my mouse. I'm going to go grab a Powerade, and then I will be back. Alright, so I know I said that I was going to grab the Powerade and then I'd be back. But I actually realized how hungry I am. I basically haven't eaten all day and I have a really bad headache because of it. I think anyhow. So I went ahead and popped some food in the microwave. It's going to take 3 minutes to cook. Hopefully I hear the microwave go off. Walk out to get it. Obviously, when I go to the movies, I'm going to have food there in the form of pizza. But the movies happens at 10:45, which is a long time for now. So we're going to have food now. And we'll sit here and discuss the plan moving forward. So we're going to get rid of that because we don't need it anymore. The next thing to build would... The only thing that I really want from this is actually the helicopter pad, and then the rest of it would be this over here. So we're just going to go ahead and grab this as a download PDF. We'll open this on up. Boom, sweet. It's the first thing. Well, no, I don't think it's the first thing. Yeah, it is the first thing. The first thing that we build is the helicopter pad, which is good because that's what I want. The CoastGaurd cutter that we just built is going to go into here. And then there's going to be copy pasted another one of these right here. And then there's one more set that the heavy duty helicopter is going to go somewhere here on another platform. So yeah. No, the food's not done. It's not done. It's not done. It's not done. It's only been all of 2 minutes. I'm super hungry. Like, I'm dying to go eat. Oh boy. Like I said, so of the 3 boats, I think this is my most favorite, this is my least favorite, and then the one that we just built is my second favorite out of all of them. I can't wait for more CoastGaurd sets to get released so that I can add to this. Okay, my food just went off. I'm gonna go get food and then I'll be back for y'all. All right, I'm back. I actually don't like popcorn anymore. I used to be a big fan of popcorn, but now it's fallen out of favor for me. Actually, before I think I did my face reveal for YouTube, I had braces in, because there's videos in particular where I talk about having braces and stuff like that. So I know I've had braces on the channel. I just don't remember ever discussing them with y'all. Obviously, when you have braces, you can't eat popcorn, so popcorn kind of fell out of favor for me, to be honest, because of that. This is fried rice, chicken, some type of bean, carrots, a little bit of herb, bacon, egg. Good stuff. My one and only complaint about this stuff is that it just doesn't have enough chicken, and that's how you keep your costs down as a company. You just don't put a lot of meat in things, because rice is super cheap and so are vegetables, but when it comes to meat, that's where it gets a little bit more expensive. So if you just don't include a lot of meat, keep your costs down. Definitely need more meat. They could learn a thing or two from Arby's, who has the meats.
Boom. All done. This is the one that we want so far. Oh, man. This stuff is so good. I say so good, but every once in a while you get a piece of chicken that's got a little bit of fat on it. Which, fat is okay, but I'm not a huge fan of fat. So, yeah. Oh, man. I'm tired. 10:15 is about the time that I leave. So I think after we finish kind of like the rough draft of this, I'll go ahead and I'll head out to take a nap, basically. It's a long day at work, and yeah, that's so it's just a long day at work. It's a lot to deal with. You're using a whole lot of energy. It's not as simple as being able to sit down all day long. Most of the time, you're up on your feet, moving around, interacting with kids, playing kickball, playing Noodle Wars, and different things like that. So, yeah. I have this wonderful thing called a copy paste function. I'm literally just going to copy paste all of the sides to this. I am well, actually, I technically don't know anymore, I guess is the good way to. I don't know what group I'm with, so I'm a little iffy on that. But basically, I am a summer camp counselor. As of right now, we transition between summer camp and after school. So I am both an after school counselor and a summer camp counselor. So right now we're in summer camp because school is over. It's summer. But once school starts again, we'll be removing summer camp from the program and basically starting up. What we call it again? You get the point. I basically watch kids all day long and play with them and try to get them to be physically active as much as possible. If you want to fix the obesity rate in America, you start with activities that kids like to play that are very intensive as a workout. And so today we played Noodle Wars, and Noodle Wars was so much fun that even I was joining in. So you know those you can get pool noodles really really cheap from the dollar store, and then what we do is we ended up cutting them in half, and then we would basically play it to the point where it's kind of like tag but with noodles. So if you got hit with the noodle, you sat where you are and you were out. And then we changed it up by adding some different rules in. So if you, like one round we played green light, red light, yellow light. So if it was green light, you can like run and really try to hit someone with the noodle. If it was yellow light, you had to walk and you couldn't run. I don't particularly care about this ladder, so this ladder can stay off. That I do care about. If it was red light, you had to stop where you were and you couldn't move. Like whatever pose you were in is the pose that you had to stop with, which was great because some of the poses, like I'd be watching someone and then in the middle of their swing I'd say red light and then they would just stop. I'm not really looking forward to making the dock because I don't need the dock, so bye to that. Oh goodness. Alright, so last one. Done with this. This. Oop. Oop. So, yep, it was pretty fun. That was one round, and then the next round, like one round we did me and another one of the male counselors, or the only other male counselor I should say, did like a all of them versus us, but we had 10 lives and they only had 1 life, and then they had to fight us. It was pretty fun. Like I said, it's all enjoyable to play and whatnot. So how many is this? 4, 4, yeah, that's an 8. It's all really enjoyable to play. It just requires a lot of energy and it takes a lot out of you. So we did one big team battle. So we got 2 colored noodles so far. We got a green and a blue. So I split the teams up pretty much evenly, and then they ended up fighting against one another. So whichever noodle color you had is whatever team you're on. So it was completely random. You didn't have any completely imbalanced teams like most things end up being, unfortunately. Like kickball, certain people would just be like, oh, well, I choose you because you're my best friend, and then the game gets horribly imbalanced because the other person chooses all the good people, and then the one person is just choosing friends. So yeah, and this was different. And then we're gonna do like a free for all, not a free for all. We're gonna do a I don't know. He was asking for free for all, but now that I think about it, the normal rounds were free for alls. So, huh? Knew that one looked a little small. I'll put glass in later. I don't feel like doing it now. It's a little hard to find games that everyone wants to play. The main problem is that certain kids just want to do certain things, other kids just want to do other things. So you want to play this game? Cool, sounds like fun. And then some kids are like, no, it doesn't sound like fun. I don't feel like playing that. And then they don't want to participate, things like that. So it's a challenge as a counselor to find games that the majority of people want to play, because you're never going to make everyone happy. So you try to find games that a majority want to play. This is the one piece that I don't know about because I don't think LDD has this piece. I think that's a fairly new piece for 2017. Yeah, LDD doesn't have this piece, which sucks because this piece is actually a pretty cool piece, to be completely honest. Crap. I don't care about the interior all too much. Honestly, I think that's as best as I'm going to get it. I like these designs better. So that's why I went with them instead. Oh yeah, I forgot this actually has to be white. Oops. All right, so that should be everything. Let's go ahead and save that. So, home, open up this.
Hey, you need to tell them you're gonna be home late.
So I think I just deleted the set that I actually needed to import. So hopefully if we hit the welcome screen, we can just open this, which we can, and then grab everything, Control C. Boom. Let's go ahead and get this one to where it belongs. Shit. It's just like slightly off. All of this actually needs to become a group, just in case that problem happens again. Alright, so everything is now in the model. We just have to get everything situated as to where it's supposed to go. And I don't plan on doing that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and save all of this, as it should be saved right about there, and end stream here. So thank you guys so much for coming out and watching. Hopefully this saves. It's kind of taking a while. It's saved. About 11,199 pieces in. And we're pretty close to being done. We just gotta get all these sets in place where they belong, and then after that come through and do some finishing details like railings, lights, things like that, and then we'll be completely done with this mega base. So see you guys later in another live stream some other time later.